But Convair engineers are not convinced. Experiments with a modified F-84 Thunderjet, married to a giant B-36 bomber, suggest that a Parasite arrangement could be a lethal combination.
The Parasite concept was pursued by Convair, which built the B-36. And Convair had encouraged the Air Force to consider a small Parasite that would be a fighter plane that they could literally lift up into the bomb bay of a B-36.
The idea is based on the Delta Wing XF92 fighter, developed at the end of World War II. Bill Chana worked at Convair as a test engineer on the XF92.
Before it was called the XF92A, while it was being developed and being built, it was called the 7002. That was the Convair's in-house designation. And if you'll excuse the expression, 7002 became known as the Seven Balls 2.
For years, historians have claimed that the XF92 was based on plans captured from the Nazi aircraft designer, Alexander Lippisch. Chana refutes this claim.
It came about because they had a contract to build a high-speed interceptor, and it had a highly swept wing, but not a delta wing. And they tried that in the wind tunnel, and it wasn't working too well. And so one of the fellows that was working on that project, and he was in the wind tunnel area, Ralph Schick was his name, and he said, why don't we just fill in the back end of that and make it a pure delta? And there are a lot of advantages to that.
Convair plans to take a modified XF92 as a Parasite aircraft to be carried by the B-36. The shark-like XF92 will carry a special pod that can later be jettisoned to save weight. The pod will contain extra fuel and room for armament.
It looked like a huge rocket. The pilot sat in the nose cone of the rocket, and then it had a delta wing and delta tail.
When launched, the fighter has high supersonic speed, capable of outflying the next generation of Soviet planes. But Convair has an even more revolutionary idea. 3 B-36 bombers will also attach themselves to each other, wingtip to wingtip, making a giant super wing. This will give the trio extra range to strike deep inside the Soviet Union without the need for in-flight refueling. Each B-36 will carry an XF-92 Parasite fighter. Once inside Soviet airspace, the XF-92s will be released and the B-36s break up and return home. The XF-92s streak into the Soviet Union. Over the target, each will release its pod, containing a nuclear bomb. Afterwards, the XF-92s either head for the nearest friendly base or catch up with their B-36 motherships. Ultimately, this bold plan never makes it off the drawing board. Sachs Curtis LeMay decides that the new generation of U.S. bombers will be fast enough to get through to the target on their own. But the XF-92 effort is not entirely wasted.
The XF-92 led to the production interceptors that Convair built. They built over 1,000 F-102s, and then they built, I think it was around 250 F-106s.